Welcome back, just Mike here. Anyway, let's finish up this clock. Let's get the whole clock timed, I guess we'll say. The hammer's timed, the deer head needs his ears put on, so I have to carve those. So I hope you enjoy the rest of this video. Let's carry on. Not moving much. I'm going to see what's wrong with that. So in here, it had that, what do we call it? It's not really an egg-shaped lever. That's what pops the bird out. And it needs to be moved because it's not doing it can't do its job because of where the warning pin's setting. So I'm going to have to open this up and move that so it'll do its job properly. So I turn this gear so it shouldn't be moving the lever up and down. This back together again and we'll check her out. So now we have it. So our timing mark's there, and you'll notice the bird post moves clear in and out. And that's why it's also good to, even though sometimes your movement's so dirty you can't see it, to see what position some of these levers are in so you know where to set it at. And no biggie, because you can just take it apart again or take the one side off again to turn that gear to make it easier. Let's get our lift arms and our hammer back on. Get the longest lift arm, put it on first. Get it in there and get it in the hole. On the other side, turn it. So you have to do this backwards from the way you took it off, because the hammer, if you put that in first, it's not going to allow anything to pass it. And now all I have to do is hook up our spring and we should be good there. Our star wheel, which operates the levers on both of these. First we need to make sure the clock is done cuckooing. Now that I get the levers in, they're all in the way. So it feels like it's done cuckooing. And so pay attention to this. We got a our arms are a little bit long or down too far because we don't have this down yet. So we have a gong, coo, gong, coo, coo. So now we need to get this thing down in that position and then check it again. So here we go again. We got to have it down. I'm going to trigger it. I'm going to use this to turn it. We got gong, cuckoo. That's what I want because it's not hanging up. Keep my fingers off the switch back there. You need that last coo in there to make it right. And this here, that there's just a little bit of movement, and that's because I set the warning pin. Let go of the warning pin. Let go of the warning pin, and there we go. Now to get these other gears on. We're going to drop for 12 o'clock. And you see where it's dropping? I got plenty of room on both sides, and this clock is still ticking away. It's not ready to cuckoo. So right there it's cuckooing, and you can hopefully see how much room I have in there. There's a chance I might have to move it one gear. Let's go ahead and flick this up and get it. Oops. Okay, we're going to come to the half hour. Here's our half hour. Here's our 1 o'clock. Here's our 1:30. Here's our 2 o'clock. So I think I'm good with that. I can go ahead and put our E-clip there and our washer on here and the E-clip on there also. So I have wood, carving wood on the for the ears to the horn. I got carving tools. Let's see what kind of luck I'm going to have to get ears to look kind of like that. So I have it all waxed. I restained this a walnut color, and so now it matches. I don't have the horns on yet, but at the moment we're at about, well, let's see, there's 20 inches. So far I'm very happy with this clock. Besides, love the idea of the animals on the side that I guess are alive. Even though the topper is kind of like a after the hunt topper, but it doesn't matter to me. I love the deer head top and the rabbits and the little acorns on here. I have around here another horn to stick on here, and it'll be complete, we'll say. And now I'm ready to put in the movement, so I think that'll be my next thing. Had to get this while the weather was still good. So I plan on adding some grease right to the top of this. You could use oil, but I'm adding the grease because I think it's going to last longer, especially because you won't be able to get to it. And of course this grease is thick and it's a bit chilly, so it takes a little bit to come out. There we go. I can just set it right down on there. And now I'll go ahead and put the E-clip under on the other side to hold this in place. So on this clock it doesn't matter. Yes, it does have the music and the time and the cuckoo, but depending on where your winders are, such as if the winder to the music was clear up here, that means that the chain would be just a little bit longer, and you'd have to put the 3 chains together to figure out which is the longest chain to put it up for the music. This one here happens to be right here's the music winder, and the music box goes up against to play, and so here I don't have to worry about the music chain being different. So anyway, on here what I normally do is I'll go to where the clicker is, see which way it turns. This one is turning around this way. So because it's going around this way, I'm going to put the chain in on this side. I'll get it started, and then as I'm slowly turning the clicker, the ratchet gear or whatever, I'll slowly stand the clock up so it doesn't go up inside onto the other gears or whatever. And I can't show you exactly, but you kind of get the gist of it. There I got it. It's caught. It was caught. You're just shaking around too much, that's all. So I have it on there. It's only on one tooth right now. And what I do is I'll turn the wheel. I got a few clicks on it, so now I can stand it up and it should stay on there. And now I need to keep turning it until my chain comes out. I'm not using the normal one. Let me get my little bit fatter end on there so I can catch where the chains are, or where the teeth are. Am I doing the right wheel? I'm not even doing the right wheel. Here it is. And you should get the chain so it goes straight up and down like I wasn't doing, because it'll start going up and then it'll fall off to the side. You can use a wood skewer stick if you like, but as you're coming down you need to make sure your clock is level so this will fall down right. Now that I've got it caught, I'm going to bring both ends of this chain so they match. And the reason why I'm doing that is I want even pressure on both chains, so that way it doesn't want to, I'm trying to make it so it doesn't want to fall off. So we got it hooked on there. Now you can take this chain and let's say wrap it around whatever, just to keep it snug so it doesn't fall off of that, the winder. Now this next one, it's going around this way, and so I'm going to drop it down this side to get the catch. And I might be able to show you a little bit better with this one. I'll try to keep it in the camera. I say it's kind of hard sometimes. And get my chain here. So it's coming around, so it's going to come to the outside is what this is going to do. And here we can see the chain. Like I say, you don't want to get too close because you have to go under things. And here I can use my finger, or I'll go ahead and wind it up, let's say. And then of course 50-50 split again on this chain here. So that way, again, so that way you can get this thing to hopefully hold up falling off all the time. So both of them are still on. Now I'm going to go ahead and put this in the clock. But before I do that, I actually want to get the people on. And you don't glue these in, you just push them on. And it doesn't matter which way you put them on, because they're dancing by themselves and they're spinning, and it's a disc, so it's just going to continuously change. So it's not a heart attack per se, how you get them on there. Just get them on. You can snug them down to that E-clip. It's not a big deal because that E-clip's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to push any harder on it. And now I want to install the Cuckoo bird. And the reason why I want to install it now is because this way it's already in there and I don't have to fight it to try to get it on, especially because my hands are so big. Once it's on and it's in the clock, then I can loosen it and adjust it, so that way I'm not fighting getting it on the rod. It's already on the rod. And don't screw those on super tight. They're not meant to be screwed on super tight, because you'll strip it out, and that's not one thing that you really want to do. I almost forgot to put this lever on. And the lever, it's going to be a little bit tough because you don't know exactly where it needs to be, because this pushes down onto the music box, and this here is what stops the fan. Let me get this kind of in its place. This is going to be sitting right about like this. This here wheel will go on up against that. Get it on the right way. That might help. That's about where it needs to be. And if you can get a screwdriver there, you can adjust this a little bit more. But normally, if you can get this pretty close to where it was, it's all the better. And whatever you do, once you have this tightened down, don't try pulling down on this, because this rod here will just snap right off, because it's what do they call it, lightweight metal or whatever. It can't handle it. Now let me try something here. My finger's off of everything. It wants a cuckoo. And now it's done cuckooing. It's kind of pointing up. And I think I want it down just a little bit further. So I'm thinking this needs to be level. And we're going to find out a little bit later, but And this is something you'll probably want to test before you hook up your bellow wires, because once you start hooking those up, now you have even more stuff in your way when it comes to adjusting the music box arm. This wire here you can bend easily. It's just lightweight and whatnot. This one here, like I say, you'll snap that off, so you don't want to get carried away with that. I put the hour hand shaft, minute hand shaft, whatever it's called, in the hole where you hang the clock, so I can get my magnetic screwdriver, pull the chain through. So now we can go ahead and drop this into the box. Of course, trying to get the bird to go in first, and making sure the people go through the door. There, we got her in there. Now all I have to do is screw it all back down. Then we can get the music box put in and start testing it to see how well that works out. This is basically a pour clock to show you, putting it on the music side, because the holes are so tight and actually should have been closer this way. But if they got too much closer, it'd been the way of these chains, and so it made it difficult. But you can see your normal winders on here. And like I say, if one of these chains slides off, you just turn your clock totally upside down, and you see which chain is off. And what you do is you loosen the chain and tip your clock a little bit to get it to go over to one side. Then you shake your chain and tip your clock at the same time, trying to get this other side of the chain to come over to the proper side. And in the meantime, you got both chains in your hand, working it back and forth as needed until you can kind of pull it tight and get it to start winding again. But now that I have all these on here, I can go ahead and start testing the music box to see. Let's see, I think the Cuckoo is going right now. I think he might be done. And this didn't fall into its hole because this here bar is pressuring it. So I'm going to lay the clock over on his face. And no use showing you because my hands be in the way. I'm going to loosen the screw, raise this up just a little bit so that way it doesn't hit. And this is a 1-day clock, and so it should play the music on the half hour and the hour. So I just ran the Cuckoo. This is now not dropping down far enough, so I need to adjust it again to get it low enough to maybe be close to snug on this arm for the music box to be triggered. And this push onto the brass part. Now I want to hold the Cuckoo part. Bring it around. It's starting to drop onto it. And let's see if the music was supposed to play or not. Yeah, it popped it out of the hole. and that shuts off because that arm's out of the way. I'm going to go ahead and hold the cuckoo bird again. Let's do the next one. It's coming down onto the music box. It pulled it clear out of its socket like it needed to. And when I say socket, I mean out of the barrel here. Now maybe you'll be able to see. It pulled itself out of the barrel. And I need to finish turning it so it'll cuckoo. So as a single cuckoo, get back onto the chain for the music. Now because you couldn't see, I'm going to bring it around again. Watch that lever come out of the barrel as it gets ready. Now it's coming down to it. It lifted up, and when it cuckooed, it pulled it clear out. So that means it's ready to play. So I'm happy with that so far. I can go ahead and hook up my bellow wires, my lift arms that go up to the bellow. And I'm going to have to run this cuckoo side again because I need to make sure these wires are lifted up. I can't move this one right now because it's caught underneath because nothing was holding it up. So I've got this so the bellows don't open too far. This one here is already starting to open, but you don't want them to open fully because some clocks can't handle that much push, and sometimes when they're open fully it'll lock the clock up, or they can't come down all the way because you have too much distance in between. So that's a half hour in which the music's been triggered, but I'm not going to pull it. And here's the hour. And now we'll go ahead and pull the music. So now that we have that done, I'm going to go ahead and slide this in through the hole just to get it ready. And I have to take that nut off, and then I have the spacer to put on first, and that's what this hole in the arm will go through. And then I'll put the spring washer on, so that way I can snug this screw down all the way onto the spacer, and the spring washer will hold this arm so it'll be snug and not just want to fall however it wants to. This here is the shut off that will push on this lever here, will push it in, and it'll cause the clock not to make any noise when you have that lever pushing this in. So let me get that on and let's see what's going on here. So this is our spacer. Put that on first. And then I'm going to put the lever on. A little difficult because this lever for the music box is kind of in the way. There, we got it on there. Now we have this washer here. It looks like it's all wrinkled. That's what it's supposed to look like. Put that on there. And then we put the nut back on that actually holds the movement together. Now this moves freely, and pushing it down, it's not pushing that little button there. Lifting this up will shut the clock off so it doesn't cuckoo anymore. And now we're going to put the pendulum wire back on, slide it through the right there, hook it to the swing, and then now don't forget to crimp that, because it'll swing just fine, but if you're shipping the clock, that sucker will fall off of there and they'll be wondering, why is this clock not working? It'll probably fall down and hook into here, and when it hooks into here, then this will be extra long and it just won't work. So make sure you push that in a little bit. Now it's able to swing fine. And it looks like just sitting here, I need to bend my lift wire here in a little bit because it's sticking out and hitting the pendulum. So I haven't made a back door for this, because I haven't got the gong. It's been ordered, so I'm not going to worry about making the back door until I get the gong. Anyway, we got the weights on, and they're a 250 gram weight, and it seems to make the music sound right and the cuckoo. So in so many words, the cuckoo sounds like it might be having a little bit of a struggle. I'll run this clock a little bit more and see if I want to pick it up to approximately a 300. 300 would probably make the music kind of speed up a bit. And so we'll just see how well this clock runs the way it is. But so far I'm quite happy with it. This here turned out beautiful, putting those ears back on, and I fake glued some kind of too small horns for this deer, but I wanted to show with the horns on there. I got to order the horns too, I guess. And this didn't have a pendulum, and so I'm trying out the pendulum here. It's a leaf pendulum that's kind of decorative. It's almost a waste for this clock because you don't necessarily see the pendulum. But then again, it is, let's say, a different type of pendulum. Is it on there? No. And I'm not even sure, I haven't timed this clock yet, as in raising and lowering that. And so I don't even know if you'll see the pendulum. They do make a skinnier leaf pendulum bob that might end up going on this clock. But for now, like I say, this to me really looks nice because of the rabbit and the pheasant. So I think it's well worth putting the extra top onto this clock. And so it's wonderful to bring a beautiful clock like this back from the dead. Yes, it was missing a lot of pieces, but like I say, if you watch your prices, I got an excellent deal on this clock. And yes, it needed to be cleaned. Thank goodness I know how to clean them. But like I say, this was a beautiful clock and is now today. So until I get the new gong with the attachment for the board, like I say, I'm not going to build the board till then. And the clock will be back to 100%. Anyway, don't forget to subscribe because it's free. And give me a thumbs up. I appreciate it. I'm not going to go like some of those other channels. I need 200,000 likes. But if that happened, I might not do another video. Anyway, until next time, God bless.